What's going on, family? Thank you for joining me tonight. I'm on my second channel, Living in the Carolinas by Sir Ashley, and I have a guest with you. I'm going to bring her out in just 1 second. But today, I want to talk about what you should expect for pricing in the Charlotte area moving forward into 2023. Now, I'm having some feedback over here. Okay, so that's what I want to talk about today. And we're going to pull up some slides because we just had a big symposium about the housing market and the influx of people into the area. So I want to touch on that with a native Charlottean and somebody you all like as a mortgage loan officer, Joy.Bailey. I'm about to try to bring her up right now. How you doing, Joy?
I'm doing great. Can you hear me okay?
I can. Can
Good.
you if you can hear her, can you put a thumbs up in the chat? I know I can hear you.
Okay. Perfect.
All right. So
Okay.
now we're talking about the Charlotte housing market, and as someone that has grown up here, can you just touch on what have you seen take place or change in the past, I don't know, 10, 15 years?
It's wild. It's the Wild West. I have literally first thank you for inviting me to chat with you and
Yeah.
your
Oh,
audience.
introduce yourself for those who don't know. This is the other channel, so I'm sorry, my fault.
Oh, no, I am Joy Bailey. I'm a mortgage loan officer with Prosperity Home Mortgage. I am the mortgage boss on social media, but I am a charlatan. So what he said is absolutely true.
Yeah, yeah.
I have been here my entire life. I have worked here in my adult years in the school system. And one big change, I will tell you, I never ever thought I would live to see a day where a teacher could not buy a house in Charlotte. It is mind boggling.
It is tough. It is tough. I don't know if we're going to dive into all the details, but the report we talked about, what, an hour before we jumped on here, it talked about how 80% of residents can't afford houses here in Charlotte that live in Charlotte.
Yeah, I mean, we know from the pandemic that people were going from job A to job B to get a 20% increase in pay. It was
Hmm.
what was it called? The great resignation, right?
Resignation, yep,
People
yep.
either quit their job to try to be entrepreneurs, or they quit their current job in an effort to get an increase because they found that these companies had money. Why did we know that they had money? Because the New York salary was moving to North Carolina
The
and they
California
were
salary,
that
yeah,
salary
yep.
and they were buying $500,000 houses, whereas before that was a basketball player's house.
You're not lying. You're not lying. That what houses that were going for 500,000 what last year, prior to that in 2018 was 300,000.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. No, it has grown tremendously. I think yeah, the stats were what 54% price increase in the past 2 years.
It's been incredible. Yeah, and the wages have not been able to keep up with
Yeah.
that. I mean, if you're talking about, I don't know, average income or median household income of say, I don't know, what 50,000, something like that, plus or minus a couple thousand on either side, you cannot get a $500,000 house. It's just
No.
not sustainable.
No. But with that said, do you see home prices coming down?
That probably ticked down a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been reading a lot, and I try to stay abreast of the
That's one thing I
trends.
like about you. You are on top of it.
I follow, I
Mhm.
listen to lots of podcasts, and I follow a lot of the thought leaders, and I attend different conferences and things, and the overall conversation is this is a market correction, and in a correction, you might be talking about a swing of 20%. That sounds like a lot. But I mean, during the crash, I want to say in 2008, we were somewhere around the 25, 30% range in decrease in prices. Home prices prior to that had only been going up, 3% a year steadily every single year. So when you have 20% decrease, it's like you just wiped away 5 years of somebody's life.
Yeah.
On this side of it, 20% in terms of correction is normal. I mean, you're not supposed to have a 20%
No.
year over year increase anyway. And
Yeah.
so I think that was going to continue as just being greedy.
No, most definitely. Whoever, nobody, I hope nobody thought that that increase year on year was going to be as dramatic.
Yeah.
I am hoping for the day where we get to 3 to 5%
Mhm.
annual increase to where it can
Yeah.
keep up with wages and everything like that. I sent you an article. I sent you I sent you a couple articles, but it bounced back and it was my fault. So I'm about to pull up an article real quick talking about, it just came out yesterday, about what experts think regarding home prices in Charlotte moving forward. So this is WBTV. You have a background in journalism. I don't think our audience knows that. You are a
Yeah.
teacher, but
Yeah.
were a teacher, and you still do teach on your YouTube channel.
This
You are the
master's degree is
boss.
gonna make me a teacher for the rest of my life. What you want me to teach? This student
I
loan
got
debt
you.
says otherwise, okay?
I'm with you. I'm with you. So we're talking about home prices, and the title of the article is "Don't Expect a Home Price Collapse in Charlotte." Now,
Mhm.
correction and collapse are two different things. Yes, during the fall and winter, it is normal for prices to either level off or come down. That's just the cycle of the real estate market. And before we get deeper into this article, on this channel right here, I know I have a normal YouTube channel where I like to talk about all things real estate and personal finance. On this channel in particular, I want to talk about just the Carolinas. I want to get in depth regarding different areas of the Carolinas. And just how happened tonight, we're talking about Charlotte. I wanted to touch on earlier what happened in Moore County, or what is happening in Moore County with the whole county being on lockdown. So just touch on that, and how this channel, if you're interested in either Carolinas, hopefully I will be that resource and that news for you right here. So housing and what's going on socially and politically in all the areas of Carolina. So, but sorry, get back into this article. We talked about what's happening nationally. If you zoom out, it says nationwide existing home prices have fallen for 9 straight months. So that's the nationwide what's happening. But here in Charlotte, things are still growing.
Mhm.
We talk about the robust jobs and
Mhm.
people moving here. It's very hard. It's very hard to see a decline in prices in a certain area if employers are coming and people are coming to fill those positions. So it's hard when you have an influx of people to see prices go down. Now, Joy, what are the major industries here in the Charlotte area that's bringing people here?
Banking is a huge one.
Mm-hmm.
Huge, huge, huge. Fintech is growing.
Yes.
It's definitely growing. One of the, I guess my competitors, Better.com came and, they brought a lot of jobs with them now. We won't go down the whole
I
rest
was
of the
gonna say
story.
they didn't let off a
I mean,
few of those
things
jobs since.
happen. Things happen,
Yeah.
but that was an indicator that those type of industries were interested in the Charlotte area. We
Mm-hmm.
have an incredible amount of talent here to be able to fulfill those type of positions. Now, I will kind of sort of play devil's advocate here and say when people start talking about, oh, it's, all of these companies they're laying off and things, a lot of those Amazon, what's coming? Is that Amazon coming to Raleigh? Was it Amazon?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think it was Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
They are laying people off.
Yeah.
So I mean,
So what I've seen is they are laying people off, but they're not laying off. They're laying off white collar people. They're not laying off the average worker. So they may
Mhm,
be bringing 200 jobs, and majority of them may be warehouse jobs or just
mhm,
workers. Um, but what they've been laying off is the higher ups recently.
mhm,
Now we'll see what happens in the future. But those tech companies have been laying off the engineers and whatnot.
mhm.
Actually, I just had a client whose son unfortunately, just got laid off last week. Got a decent severance package. Well, we'll be getting a decent severance package, but he was a little distraught because this is his first job out of school. So,
Oh.
but he's an engineer. He'll land on his feet, and he's young.
And that's the
So,
other part of it that we have to think about.
yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
if that holds true across the board, these are not positions that, you just fell off the turnip truck and got yesterday.
Yep.
It comes with, having a 4-year degree and maybe a master's degree. These are very, very smart people with great experience and innovative and have so much talent. Another company is going to scoop them up right away.
Most definitely. Most
So,
definitely.
is it going to impact the housing market to the point where they can't make mortgage payments and it's going to be a wave of foreclosures? Probably not.
No, I don't see that happening either. And that touches on not just people coming, but the demographic of people coming to the area, where it is the higher educated, at least 4-year degrees or at least an advanced degree in computer science or something like that. So that delivers a certain, not cachet, but a floor as far as pricing goes.
Yes. Yes, I mean their salaries are gonna be higher. The
Mm-hmm.
floor is going to be higher. This is not when I went listen, when I was in the 4th and 5th grade,
Yeah, yeah.
we would go up the road to go see Morris, was it Morris, what was it, Morris, whatever it, with the tobacco?
Oh yeah, yeah. Philip Morrison.
Tobacco fields,
Yeah, yeah,
Philip Morris.
yeah, yeah. Yep.
Philip Morris, right? That was the thing, you graduated from your local high school and going up to the Philip Morris and get you a job and you
Get you a
stay for
job.
30 years.
Yeah, yeah.
That is not now. That's just, with generation, I don't know what is it, Z, they're a little different. Like
They're all over the place.
I'm, I'm a millennial, but
Amen. I am too. I am too. Yeah.
but they're very different. Uh, they're getting, out of college and they're demanding much higher salaries. They are double dog daring you to not pay them. I mean, they're
They
making themselves very, very marketable.
most definitely.
And so that's certainly going to play into what you're saying.
Yeah. What's going on, Martin? Ozahar, thank you, thank you. Angeline, uh, you were not part of this, Joy. I sent the email, but it did not send. Angeline was on it. She's actually a team member of mine, and we're gonna get her on the live stream one of these days. One of these days. So, what's going on, Angeline? Thank you for tuning in. I'm about to go back to the article real quick, where it says by the numbers, data shows that Charlotte home sales have slowed. And that has happened throughout the country. When mortgage rates went over 6.25, I believe, you saw purchase applications decline severely. And then they went into the sevens. Then they went above 7. And right now, where are mortgage rates right now, presently?
They're coming down.
They're coming
We're,
down.
we're on the downside. So 6-ish, some are in the fives, just
Mm-hmm.
depending upon, credit and other factors. So that means more application volume because I had a pretty busy day today. So I can see how it's going to start ticking up. It's a catch 22.
It's a catch 22. It's definitely a catch 22, and that's what I'm trying to tell people, to where the market has slowed down. It did slow down in the fall, and we're in the winter now. It's weird thinking that we're in December already, about to go into 2023.
I know.
But prices have softened a little bit,
Mhm.
and it has created an opportunity for those people that have been marginalized and couldn't get their offer accepted. I recently, just this weekend, I was negotiating a deal. A new builder new construction, had homes priced at 350. Now this is a Charlotte suburb. So it's not in Charlotte. It's about 30 minutes from uptown Charlotte in Gaston County. 350, new construction. They reduced the price December 1st to 299. Again, new construction homes, they're trying to get rid of their inventory if it's already started. And we were able to get a better price than that. Um, so right now, it is just the opportunity to put all your chips in if you want it to, if you want to buy. Because what I'm seeing is a lot more activity. And as there's more activity, there's more competition. And more competition brings up prices, unfortunately. And if you're in the Charlotte area, you're not only competing with the people that are here right now, you're going to be
Hmm.
competing with people moving here. And they're moving here with higher paying jobs. So
From
that's
the
the
west,
challenge.
from the north.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. It's stiff competition out there. And as far as like home prices, what's the median price in like Mecklenburg County area right
Yeah.
now?
Right now, well, in Charlotte, this article says in October it was 379.
Okay.
So 379, it's gone down a little bit since August, but it's still up 13.3% year over year.
Which is still abnormal.
Abnormal. It's three almost three times, four times what it should be.
Still abnormal. So
So
no, I mean, I don't know. So the people that may have lost money, because some people might be a little
I
underwater
saw an
technically, they'll
article
get it.
where there's 8% of mortgages that got taken out this year, which is, in the whole scheme of things, a very small amount of mortgages. But
Hmm.
8% of mortgages taken out this year are currently underwater. That's what I just saw today. So the beautiful thing about housing is, unless you're a flipper, you're not buying unless a life event happens, a tragic life event happens. You're not buying right now and then having to sell right away. You're going to be staying in that home for, or at least owning the home for a year, two, three. So you have time for you to have your appreciation. So,
Absolutely.
so that's one of those
Yeah.
things. Um, Real quick, I want to try to pull up. I want to try to pull up the a quick summary of the symposium that took place at UNCC.
It
Those of you
was
who are
so good.
unaware, yes,
It was so good.
the North, University of North Carolina at Charlotte had a housing symposium, and I am trying to pull that up. Give me a second. First, Joy, I'll let you. I'm gonna do it in the background. I'm gonna let you talk about what you see as far as people coming in to the area and the different professionals you've been helping recently.
Oh, I mean, a lot of different people have been coming to the area, all, all walks of life, people that have professional degrees, people that do not. I will tell you a lot of the successes that I have been having. Charlotte, for Charlotte to be a major city, we never had a medical school. And now we do. We have a medical school now, so we're starting to see influx of people with medical backgrounds. I have been getting applications from physicians, nurses, and a big, big, big one has been travel nurses. I love some travel nurses. I love them. I love them. I love them. They are great to work with, even though it may be a little more difficult for them to get loans. They have been able to be, employed more than a lot of other sectors throughout the pandemic.
Most definitely.
And I mean, I've gotten tons of applications from nurses and travel nurses lately.
And to second that, I've gotten quite a few, well, more than normal. I've gotten three different doctors reaching out, moving to the area. They've gotten letters, and they're going to start their residency in the Charlotte area with Atrium Health. Two of them was Atrium, one of them with Novant. In the spring or summer of 2023. So they're getting the process started and getting ready to buy a home. So actually new construction. So yes, that's what I'm seeing, that influx between banking. I have a client closing this week in the banking sector. He was retired, got offered a ridiculous amount of money to come to Charlotte with banking. So he's like, well, yeah, let's do it. I can do it. I can work a couple more years. Uh, so banking, We have healthcare
Mhm.
and energy as well as the fintech that you mentioned before. So those are the industries and the professionals coming into the area. And this is a quick recap. This is not the slides. This it had about 68 slides regarding in this symposium regarding the state of housing report for Charlotte, and it compared Charlotte to other cities in the country, growing cities in the country. And Charlotte was right in the sweet spot. It was in the middle. It wasn't the most unaffordable one, but it wasn't as affordable as one would hope for its current residents. Now, they do see it being affordable for people coming in because they're
Mhm.
comparing it from where they're leaving, New York or up north or out west. And in this article, it talked about how 3.8% of houses sold in the region were under $150,000. Now, it wasn't that long ago that majority of homes in the Charlotte area was around 150 to $200,000. How Joy? How
Mhm.
far would you say? How long ago? I know since I've been here, and I've moved here in
It's
what
been maybe
2010.
8 years
Yeah.
ago, 9 years ago. Definitely pretty easy to get into that range. And I'm talking about a 4 bedroom house, not a 2 bedroom in a hood that needs to be
No, but houses in the hood right now is still around right around 300 right now. That needs work.
definitely. No,
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely significantly
Yeah.
shifted. But again, that's just in the Charlotte area. I actually got a contract today from a lady in High Point, which is about an hour north of
Yeah.
Charlotte.
Yeah.
A lot of colleges and universities in that area, Wake Forest, High Point University, A&T, of course.
Let's go
And
Central. Let's go Central.
and she got a condo. She went under contract. I think they listed it for 148, and I think she got it for 138.
Nice.
And they're paying her closing costs. So,
There's opportunity to be had, and I personally believe that I've mentioned this before, and Ozahar knows this is I think the triad portion of North Carolina is an excellent opportunity. It is undervalued right now based on the industry and jobs moving to that area. It is definitely
mhm,
undervalued. And personally, I'm looking for investment properties in that area. I'm not even looking for investment properties in the Charlotte area presently. It's more so that area because you can still get stuff for 100, 150, and if it needs work, you can get it for even less than that and still rent it out and make a nice profit.
mhm,
So yes, you are actually Ozahar. You are able to make offers now.
mhm,
Not even on the cusp. Like you can make offers. There is every property I've submitted. I've made an offer, even new construction. The property we just got under contract, they were asking 299 after just reducing it from 350, and we came in significantly lower. They denied it, but we did not pay. We didn't pay asking price, and we ended up getting refrigerator, washer, dryer, and $10,000 worth of closing costs.
oh, that's really good.
Yeah, so it was
You
one of
have a
those.
lot of people getting a 2-1 buy down?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
and I've seen a lot of sellers even offering it to
Mhm,
buyers because sellers, you have to be competitive. Sellers have
mhm,
to be competitive in this market, and if you're competing against new construction can do funky math with their financing.
mhm. Yeah,
Whereas, whereas
that's very creative.
they can get creative because they own like if you use their financing company, they use both, right? They have
Mhm,
both, so they can take from Peter and give to Paul and vice versa. So it's just they can get
exactly.
funky with it. And if you are a seller and need to sell in this market, you have to get creative as well to make your property appealing. And that's what one of my sellers right now is coming to a realization. Uh, Home, excellent area, um, just sitting on the market. Well, actually, it was under contract. It fell out of contract because of interest rates and everything. But
What was the
now we're
price point
just
that made it sit?
Well, was right over 315, but does need some work. So that's the challenge right there, is that it needs some work at 315. And I don't have to tell you, but a lot of people don't want to buy a home that they have to do some work to. At least not right now. In 2021, early 2020, or middle of 2020, that wouldn't have been a problem at all.
Two of the realtors I'm working with, they have had open houses for properties that were 550 and up, like 550 to
Mm-hmm.
600 for each of the houses, which both are on the outskirts of the city. And they sit and sit and sit and wait and still sit. And I mean, one of the houses
Oh
was
yeah.
built in February of this year,
Yep.
but they needed to move because they got another job in Florida. They want to leave. No, nobody wants to buy the house. It's a beautiful house.
That's the thing. Like, so that price point is in no
Mhm.
man's land right now. That price point is just is it's in a funky spot because people that can, like, if you have a median income nowadays in the Charlotte area, you can afford about 450, maybe right at 5. And then if you can afford much more than that, you're skipping over that property and going to that 650, $700,000 property.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh,
because right now that $500,000 property, it is, for the most part, it's in a position that either, now that probably seems like it's done up, it's fixed up, but geographically, when you look at schools, $500,000 property and it's all done up, like you might have a good elementary school, but the middle school may be or the high school might need some work. So it's one of those things, you're just caught in the middle, and the people that can afford it, they're like, we're just going to skip this and go to that 650. And that's what I've
mm,
seen a lot of my clients end up doing, to where technically that 500, 550 property could have worked, but they're like, no, we don't want to move in 4 years when we have to go to that middle school. So let's just go right now, and then we'll refinance if we need to.
makes sense. Makes sense. And that's the other thing, a lot of people don't realize the correlation between recession and housing price, well, interest rates.
Yeah.
They will come down along with the recession. So you're not stuck per se. You just have to make sure that you're not overextending yourself in other areas, getting credit card debt, buying a new car to go with your new house to the point where you're not able to refinance.
Most definitely. So that's the thing we touched on a prior stream is, look, if you want to wait or do something and move later on as interest rates get lower, position
Mhm.
yourself and be ready. Don't just go crazy thinking that you're just going to wait, but then you racking up debt elsewhere. No, position yourself, save more money, pay down your debt, so when the interest rate is comfortable for you, you can move forward.
Mhm.
Um, we talked about, well, this article in the symposium talked about how only 25% of homes in the Charlotte region are under 300,000. So that home
How
that
many?
we just 20 only about 25% of homes sold are under
Oh, I
300,000.
thought you said 2,500. I was like,
Oh yeah, no,
what?
I'm
Okay,
sorry, 25%. Yeah, yeah. Um,
okay.
so
That's
rent has
that's
gone
different.
up. It's very difficult, and that's why we had to jump on that property today or yesterday. New construction, 4 bedroom. Granted, it's 30 minutes outside the city, for under 300,000. So we
Mhm.
had to jump on it because that opportunity doesn't come along too often.
Mhm.
Um,
Do people feel like there's a false sense of I can wait now that they're being told that things have slowed down and they
I believe so. They feel comfortable where they can wait, but what I'm trying to just alert them and educate them to where you can wait if you have the means and funds to do so. If you're on the cusp, 300, 400,000, now is your time to act, because as soon as interest rates come down, everybody in their money, and so you're battling two things: interest rates coming down and seasonality. Once
Mhm.
March hits, like everybody's gonna go house shopping, and that opportunity that did exist in December and January probably will not be there.
Mhm. You're right. I agree.
Um, we talked about the increase in home prices. The median price in Charlotte increased from 273 in January 2020 to 420 in September of 2022. That is significant. Um,
Well,
and
that's almost double. That's
yeah,
almost yeah. My income didn't go up double. Like I don't. It just. It's just. It's not a thing.
no.
It's. I don't. That makes me sad.
It and that's the thing. What's upsetting or troubling is two things, in my opinion. The residents, the people that live here that made Charlotte what it is, are getting priced out, whether it be the rent increase or they can't afford to buy a home in the area. And
Yeah.
and the sad thing is, when I talk to people, is they've been given the wrong information for years. So when houses were 200,000 or 270, they were waiting because somebody told them they should wait.
Hmm.
And now they're SOL, they can't afford this 420. And what I'm telling people now that are right on the cusp, right around 300, 400, you can wait if you want to. By all means, it's a personal choice. But based on this symposium and all the factors that's making Charlotte what it is, I think if you wait, you're going to be priced out again. So it's only going to continue that snowball.
Oh, definitely. I mean, like I said before, I think some cases we need to start looking at getting new careers. I personally went from being a teacher. Like, I don't say things that don't apply to me
Yeah,
personally. Like, if it's not something that I have experienced, I really can't speak on it. Teaching was cute. It was fine. I love the kids.
it
Kids
was
love me.
cute.
We love each other. But there is no way mathematically, as a single income household, it was not going to happen. Like, it just was not going to happen. I just, it's not right. It's not fair. And a few years ago, you remember the study where it talked about Charlotte ranked 50 out of 50 for upward mobility for the people that live in the city. So basically, if you grew
Most
up in
definitely.
poverty in Charlotte, you are going to die in poverty in Charlotte.
Yeah.
50 out of 50 cities, that's bad.
That's
Like,
bad. That is bad.
bad.
And reason, not many. I don't really talk about my upbringing too much, but
Oh, I
it's
tell
true.
all my business. I don't want
It's
anybody to say, "Oh, Joy being mean."
oh no, no, I just don't talk about it because I just don't. But truth is, I didn't have anything. We're talking about welfare,
Mhm,
father being locked up, majority of my life. So when I hear studies like that and or facts like that as far as upward mobility, it really touches home because I'm only here because of those that my mom purposefully surrounded me with. And granted, I had to make wise decisions along the way. But I was able to learn from those around me and those learn from a distance. So I had to be uncomfortable in certain circumstances to, like, I didn't know this. I don't know this. How can I be better? And too many times in Charlotte, I used to coach AAU basketball here in the inner city. So too many times I would have my students, let's call them students, but team and all that, they have this mindset to where this is all they know. And I understand that was me, but I tried to introduce them to other things. And one thing I'm forever grateful is my mom introducing me to other things, other cultures, and seeing what's beyond my current circumstances. Um, and you really don't know what's obtainable until you're able to see it.
mhm.
Um, So that's it's just very troubling when I hear those stats about Charlotte, and then seeing certain areas of Charlotte being gentrified and knowing that those people cannot afford to buy a house in that area anymore, and they ended up selling grandmother's house, and now they have nothing to show for it. But yet they are true Charlotteans through and through, and now they're relegated to go to Gastonia or Lowell or just Cherryville or something like that, to where that's not home for them.
No. No, not at all. No, I agree with everything that you just said. It is a huge mindset shift that has to happen in order to be able to increase that home ownership rate that so often we talk about within, the Black community. The home ownership rate, it is the cornerstone of wealth in America. Like, I know that there's all of these fancy things that are coming up, crypto and all of that. But
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, sometimes you kind of go, hey, you have to go back to the basics, and the basics or the ABCs of getting wealth is having a place to put your roots, your home, your family, that foundation where you can have your kids and grandkids and all of the things. And I just I know I saw something that was so poignant. I know one of the sayings is like, "Oh, I'll believe it when I see it." I was at a Crave the other night, and
Uh
on the
oh.
wall
Uh oh.
they had, hey, look, I like to have a good time now. But on the wall is it's a sign that says, "When I see it, no, when I believe it, I'll see it." And that's the thing. Like, you have to know that you know that you know. Oh, it's gonna happen. I
Yeah.
don't care what I have to do. I don't care what kind of shifts I have to make. I don't care.
Yeah.
My mindset, I'm changing something. It's going to be better for my kids than it was for me. I didn't want my son to have a ton of student loan debt. When I was a loan officer, I would see how people would move their money around. I did a lot of jumbo loans, talked to a lot of people in Southern California that didn't look like me.
Yeah.
And I saw that they would leverage one property and get an equity line of credit, and they would use that
Hmm.
equity line of credit to pay for not all of the college, some of the college, make a few payments. Kids will move back home, they would have a full-time job, and then they would downsize, and now everybody's debt free. That is
I
a V.
It's a vehicle. It is a vehicle, and I know we're getting off topic regarding Charlotte, but I touch on this is my kids know that regardless of what happens, like I want them to stay at home for forever. Like I want them to be
Mhm.
able to save up their money, and
Yes.
when they're ready, one they'll be past passive income already, but they'll be ready to be able to move forward when they're comfortable, as opposed to too many times in our community. No, 18 years old, you're getting out the house, and you're
You
not
gotta go.
ready. I wasn't ready at 18. Granted, I went to college
Not
and all
with two
that
thousand
stuff.
dollars in rent
Yeah. Oh,
now.
and rent right now. Let me pull this up real quick. Rent right now in Charlotte is this is a report that I like to use. It is Altos Research. Now, all realtors have access to the MLS reports, and that's handy, that's useful, but those reports are dated. That's from the months in the past. It's not current. It's not telling you what's going to happen in the future or what's happening presently in the ground. I study this for several markets, Charlotte being one of them, and you can see what's happening on the day to day, the 7 day average or 90-day average of what's happening in the Charlotte region. And right now, based on the market action index, it is still a seller's market. Now, much less so than it was in October. I mean, August. In August, it was a 55.6. Right now, it's a 44.4 or 44. And you see this chart right here where it says 30 is the delineation mark regarding if it's a seller's market or buyer's market. So it is
Mm.
still a seller's market, not as strong as it had been in the past. And we're starting to see where rents in September were what, 2045. They started to level off right around $2,000. So rent here in Charlotte, the average rent is $2,000. And I remember having a condo uptown, and my rent was $1,000 uptown,
Oh,
like the
you
most desirable
fancy.
area. I wanted to be in it. I wanted to be in the middle. I wanted to walk to court. I walked to court. Yeah, I wanted to be in the middle of it all. Um, we used to. I had what, season tickets to the Hornets games. Used to walk. Actually, it was the Bobcats at the time. Walk to the Bobcats games. Yeah, nah, it was. I was.
Yeah.
I can say I
What a
lived. Yeah, I can. I can say I lived. Um, but uptown was a
yeah.
thousand dollars. Right now, you can't find a studio for
My
$1,000.
friend's moving here from Dallas. She's in banking.
Yeah.
She's moving here from Dallas, and she's looking for somewhere. She's moving into an apartment or
Mm-hmm.
renting a condo, and everything that has fallen out of her mouth has started with the number 3,
Yeah.
uptown.
Uptown. Anywhere.
Everything that has, I mean, oh, how much is that? 3. Oh, my stomach. I can do it. Oh
That
God.
is like, and when I hear that, I hear, man, mortgage payment. That's what I hear. I hear mortgage payment. And it's not just uptown. Like any zip code surrounding uptown, like touching, bordering uptown, you're going to be right around that three. Um,
I'm noticing a lot of New York trends. Like as people are moving here,
mhm.
like she was saying that they're asking her to pay for parking, like within the building. Well, what you mean pay?
What? Oh,
To
now so I
park
hadn't
my
heard
car?
that. I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah, some of the buildings, they not only are you paying the rent that's expensive, but you're paying per month to park there as
That
well.
is crazy. Um,
Yes, it is.
Real quick, let me touch on this question right here by TFSA. Asked, do you think a 1031 exchange is a good tool for investors to use in the Charlotte area until single family prices decrease? To answer your question, I think I actually really like 1031 exchanges. I believe, you just, those of you who don't know, it's like a tax deferment. You take profits from one property, you assign it to another property, and then go buy that property. You don't have to pay taxes on those gains. But to answer your question, I don't see prices decreasing that much for single families here in the Charlotte area. Now, you can go outside 30, 40 minutes of Charlotte. Yes, it may decrease some, but in Charlotte or any county that's touching Charlotte, I think we're gonna, for the next 2, 3 years, we're gonna be pretty level. I think we're not gonna
Mm.
go too high. We're not gonna go too low. I think we're gonna be pretty consistent. But then in those areas that have schools that are desirable in every stage, those and the houses a 10, those prices are gonna go up still. You're still getting multiple offers for those. Um, Real quick, here we go. I want to talk about. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up these stats regarding monthly numbers and statistics, just so everybody has a gauge regarding what to expect in the Charlotte area for the price point. Now, I'm not sure, you can't really see this, Joy. I'm gonna need you. We're gonna get you set up to where you have the camera, and then we're gonna have your computer next to you as well, so we can see
I'm getting it
everything.
together.
All right,
I'm
we're
I'm
gonna we're
gathering
gonna
all
work it
of
out.
my things.
We're gonna work it out. Um, so we have pending sales broken down by price range and bedroom count. So here we have from in what, October 2021, you had homes a price increase of 4.2% for homes above 300,000, but those more affordable homes between 200 to 300,000, you had a decrease in sales of what, 35%. So that just shows that the affordability, those lower end houses just don't exist
Mm.
because houses are just costing more and people can get the price that they're asking. Bedroom count, less sales. I'm looking at the 3 bedroom. Change in percentage went down 13%. Sorry, I'm over here looking at it. Days on market. Days on market for homes over $300,000 went down 16% from this year, last year to this year.
So they're going faster.
They're going faster because there's just there's less inventory.
Mm.
And
I mean,
sales
I'm
have
gonna be honest. When I get applications and it's below a certain number, I mean, I
it's
don't, I'm
tough.
not know where
It's
you gonna
tough.
live.
It's tough. I have people reaching out asking. Actually, I had somebody angry at me um, because they wanted some property, some inventory, some listings for homes that were under 250 and everything like that. And I sent them what you make you filter it and it automatically sends. Well, nothing sent. I can't make inventory show up. So they were
Hmm.
upset with me because they weren't getting anything. But I mean, there's no properties in that criteria that is available that
Hmm.
for what you want. Um, it's just one of those things. So you can find it. You might have to go further out. You might have to go to Rock Hill. You might have to
Hmm.
go to Chester. If you're
Hmm.
unfamiliar with that, those are in South Carolina, Rock Hill, South Carolina, or Chester, South Carolina. Or you might have to go to Albemarle. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Okay, Albemarle or Salisbury, to where you can have properties in the twos. But until you get that far out, you're going to be tough to find properties in the twos, even manufactured homes nowadays.
Hmm.
Um, so I say all that to say prices in the Charlotte area, while we may see a correction, we have been seeing a correction. It has gone down a little bit in the last couple months. That's this normal seasonality. We're getting back to normal. Normal is prices shoot up in the spring, early summer. They level off late summer, early fall, and then they come down fall and winter. That's what happens. And right now is your time if you're on the margins, if your budget is between two, three, even four, reach out to Joy, reach out to a mortgage broker, and find out what you can afford comfortably. And we can try to backtrack and find a home that fits your needs. You might not be in that area that you want, but the goal is to get you on the property ladder and find something that's convenient for you because you're going to be paying at least, if you want to be in the Charlotte area, at least $2,000 a month anyway, because that's the average rent.
And that I'm glad you said that because the misinformation is, oh well, it'll be cheaper for me to buy than to rent, and that's not the truth. Right now, the numbers that you just gave, 300,000. If you're talking about putting down a minimum down payment, welcome to the 2,500 land. You know,
I
you're
saw that
gonna
today.
be
Yeah.
$3,000. Like it is serious out here, and the best way that I can explain it, if it's two people in the household, imagine if you paid $2,000 in rent and your bae or your boo paid $2,000 in rent. Go ahead, put those numbers together and get ready.
What I see is the sheer home price of homes is going to
Yeah,
cause a lot of house formations because it's hard, and I want to do a video on this, but it's a touchy subject. It's hard for a single person to buy a home nowadays.
it's
Hard, if
true.
not impossible, depending on your industry and field and debt, right? It is damn near impossible. So it's just a video I want to touch on. Like, is the American dream unattainable for the average single person?
For some people, it is
Yeah.
definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
in Charlotte, I
And
mean,
so, yeah.
just all of the puzzle pieces are there. I don't think it's you're casting aspersions by making that claim.
Yeah.
There's data to support that. It's a fact. It is very challenging if you just have just a middle of the road job, making $50,000. That's only $4,500 a month. That only gives you
That is
about
tough.
$2,200 a month to play with every month. So
I'm not. So I don't. $50,000 a month growing up. I mean, a year growing up sounded like
mhm,
so much money. It sounded like so much money growing up. Now it's
yeah,
like it's the
mhm,
bare minimum.
yeah. What is it? 50? Wait, 50,000. Oh, ha, joking. That's 4166 a month, I think.
That's tough.
Yeah, yeah.
AJ asked, in this current market, what is the lowest credit score to get approved for anything?
So the the technical answer is 580 and 620.
Nobody.
However,
I'm saying 580. You're gonna. It's gonna be tough. Six
yeah.
twenty is gonna be
I mean,
tough.
that's the answer that we're supposed to give.
Yeah, yeah.
The real answer is, as the market tightens, credit is going to tighten too. So if you are on the cusp and you're a little shaky, the reality of it is you probably shouldn't be looking to buy a house anyway. Because what if you lose your job? What if there's a lot of things,
Now,
And
I have to
so,
be devil's advocate real quick. Now,
please,
this is my
I
argument. This was
yes,
my argument.
let's
If
go.
if you're shaky, right? If you're on the cusp, right, and you're not too sure about your job, I tell people, this is just my thinking. You again, you I want to have this debate with you. My thinking is go ahead and buy that house.
Okay.
Reason why is because God forbid if you lose that job, right? If you lose that job, you can stay in that house for damn near 3 years in North Carolina, like through all the various measures and whatnot, and not have to make a mortgage payment. Now, if you lose that job and you're
I
a
am not a
renter,
part of this conversation. I don't give out any type of advice like that. I am
yeah,
at this
no,
point,
no, no,
I'm a spectator with everybody else.
I'm just saying, like hypothetically, devil's advocate, right? So if you are on that cusp, on the margins, and you lose that job and you're a renter, how long do you think you're staying in that house?
You won't make it to the next one.
Exactly. And then your credit's going to be messed. You're going to have an eviction and you're not going to be able to find another house. I'm saying buy the house. Like, granted, I'm not, nobody going into it hoping or wishing that you're going to lose your job, right? But buy the house and you have more security in home ownership. There's various programs traditionally and historically for homeowners to get by as opposed to renters. So
We need a
that's
little thing to
just
scroll across the bottom of the screen and say,
this was all me. This is not has nothing to do with Joy. I was just being devil's advocate. I want to make sure this is not associated with Joy or who she's with. She is not advocating mortgage fraud or anything like that. But I am saying if you can get approved, and nobody like job security nowadays. What does that even mean? Right? Like nobody technically has job security, so everybody's a month away from being fired. Hypothetically, unless if you own your own job or I mean your own business and all that, you don't know what's going to happen. Hell, pandemic can come around, and that flourishing business that you own that you were
Mhm.
could go under. So nobody has any job security in America or in the world. But one thing you do have if you own the home is you're not going to have a landlord telling you to you got to get out. Like you
Mhm.
got at least 3 months before the notice of default is filed. And then you can work
Mhm.
with the bank and extend
Mhm.
that out and you have time to get back on your feet.
A
Whereas
thousand.
whereas if you're a renter, no. You missed that first payment, I'm filing eviction paperwork immediately. Immediately. And then I'm gonna find somebody that can fill that vacancy and pay more. So
Absolutely.
it's just one of those things.
Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, so okay. You're the attorney, so
Yeah.
what he said. But but as far as, the minimum scores, as far as underwriting and things are concerned, um as the market goes and the job market goes, all of those economic indicators are part of what helps make up all of the risks that the lender is willing to take on. And it will tighten as things become worse. If the lender sees that there is a wave of job loss coming, they're going to make up for that in some way, shape, or form. It happened as recently as COVID.
Yeah.
All those people got sent home. What did they do? They was like, you got to have a 700 credit score. Don't talk to me.
Don't talk to me.
Don't talk to me.
Yeah, yeah.
You cannot sit with us. It really was. And so
And
the
people,
answer to that question is don't shoot for the lowest credit score. You need the highest credit score that you can possibly have. And that's in the good times, bad times, middle times, any times.
most people don't understand. Like, so I was had this conversation recently. Is you want the highest credit score, you want the most, not the most money, but a certain
All of the pennies.
you want it in the bank because one thing that the general public don't know is once you have made a certain amount of deposits in the bank, you're eligible for various programs that the general public just isn't aware of. Like they start calling you and they want to be your own personal concierge for banking. So it's just one of those things that it's weird. It's not fair. People that need help and need a break in the interest rate and various things like that, no, they're paying the most. But those that can afford it, that has the funds and liquid and all that, they're getting discounts.
Absolutely.
So you definitely want to strive for the highest and the best because one, open doors open up to you that you didn't know existed.
Hmm.
That VIP room starts just like it's weird. Um, One other thing I want to touch on that people say they want to wait for a recession to buy, and my retort to them was, well, during 2011, 12, when you had all these quote unquote affordable houses, why wasn't everybody and their mother buying then?
Hmm.
It wasn't the price. It was
You weren't
they
ready.
could not get approved
Hmm.
because during a recession, lenders are stingy with their money. So
Very.
you can quote unquote afford it, but are they going to give you that money?
Yeah, and I
So
mean, just to be really clear, you can check all the boxes.
yeah,
You can have your minimum down payment, you can have the minimum credit score, and on the surface, you're like, I'm ready. And
no, you're
when we
not.
send everything out of the underwriting system,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
they're looking for things on the credit profile
Mm-hmm.
that suggest that you are under some sort of financial stress, financial duress. What is happening that over the last 2 years has happened to you that you might not make your payment for the next 3 years? Like
Yeah.
that is the formula, y'all. Like we're looking at the last 2 years of your life to project the next 3 years of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, Sir Ashley is 1,000% right. You could lose your job in the morning, but what we're looking for is stability. We're looking to make sure that there is something there that suggests if you lose your job tomorrow, you still have money in the bank. That's why it's important not to have the minimum, but you want to have more than the minimum. So when the transaction goes to the closing table and you get your keys and you take your Instagram pictures, you still have a few. I'll
Yeah.
see y'all on Instagram. And literally, you want to make sure you have extra money left over just in case something happens.
Most definitely. Most definitely. So, Joy, how can people reach out to you? How can they get in touch with you?
Well, I am on all social media platforms on Instagram as the underscore mortgage underscore boss, BAWSE. I have a channel on YouTube. Y'all come on over. Come on
I think I
over.
just put it. Is that correct?
Subs.
The underscore mortgage underscore boss. I think I put it
That's on
into the chat.
IG, yeah, and then
Okay.
on YouTube, just the mortgage boss.
Okay.
And I talk all about everything I just said. It goes a little bit more in depth, talk about credit, talk about income.
Now you're also on like various podcasts and everything like that. You're everywhere.
I know I
So
talk much.
you're
I
everywhere.
talk. I'm everywhere. I'm talking. I'm telling. I'm
Yeah.
trying to spread the good news of the gospel of interest rate.
One, they're coming down. Two, there's various
Yeah.
programs for various professionals where other mortgage brokers may say no, it's too challenging, too difficult. You've been making it happen with nurses and the
Yes, my nurses, come
yeah.
on. If you are a nurse, if you know a nurse, if you know a travel nurse, I am your girl. I am specializing in travel nurses.
Yeah.
We're going to get it done. Nurses have money and you need
And
money to
and
buy a
as
house.
so I have clients that are nurses, doctors, and flight attendants, people that work in the airline industry.
Yes.
And I recently had a 26-year-old client who bought a home, zip code 28214, not too far from the airport, five
Hmm.
bedroom. She's a
Hmm.
single woman. She's a flight attendant.
Hmm.
Charlotte is her hub.
Yep.
She's only in town for maybe 5, 10 days a month. She is renting out each room and
Hmm.
making a killing.
I'm
Talking
sure.
like she has 5 bedrooms. She has one that nobody else goes in. That's her room. But then the other four she rents out, and it's not just like one person. We're talking like
Mhm.
bunk beds in there for other flight attendants, others, other pilots. Like talk about they're called a crash pad. So for those of you investors talking about 1031 exchange and various things like that, um, I said it to say for nurses and airline professionals, buy a home, you have an in that industry, and just rent it out to your colleagues and make a killing.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
No,
I
she is making
that
hand
is.
over fist
Mhm.
at 26 years old, and I'm like, here I am going to court at 26 years old. I should have been doing that.
Right. Thought you were gonna be on Law and Order, huh? You like,
No lie, no
I'm
lie. I thought I
telling
was gonna, yeah, no, I thought I was
you,
gonna
said
be
you was trying to
Johnny.
be
Yeah,
Thurgood Marshall
yeah.
when you grew up. I get it. I
I'm telling you,
understand.
it was one of those things.
They
Growing up,
different.
it was
That's what I'm
sports
saying.
or law. That's what I thought. But then once
That
your eyes are
Gen Z is
open,
different.
yeah, once your eyes are open, you're like, man, there's so many ways to make money, so many opportunities, and now I get to sit around and be in sweats all day, or a t-shirt.
That's true. And then and become a YouTube sensation. The
Don't say
same thing I laughed at my son is 14 now. He was about 9. That's I want to be on YouTube. I'm like, boy, get out my face. Look at his mama.
I'm telling you,
I tell
it gives you some clout amongst your kids. Like my 8 year old, she has her friends going up to her like, I saw your dad on YouTube, and I'm like,
you.
yeah, yeah. So
Mhm. Want my autograph. Yeah.
she was listening. Well, she listened to me before. Now she listens even more so. But
That's
um,
good.
life as KD, you asked, can I do a video on the best suburbs of Charlotte for Black families? And to answer your question outright, unfortunately, I cannot. Only, and the reason why is of license law. I can't talk about one demographic or another. Uh, if you watch, that may sound like a cop out. It's not. It really is. I can't talk about it. But if you watch my videos, I toe the line, and I say everything I can regarding demographics and comfortability and various things like that. But those are the limits I can go. Um, Ah, yes, streaming on Twitch. I haven't gotten into Twitch, but I have been playing Roblox and there's another game. I can't think of it right now. Minecraft
You play
with
Roblox?
my my daughter. She loves Roblox and she
Mhm.
builds different games. She creates them, so I try to support it every way possible. And
Oh,
she has to think I'm cool, right? So yeah,
that's
that
cool.
and Minecraft. I hate Minecraft though. I much rather Roblox than Minecraft. I don't get the point of Minecraft. But thank you, Joy. It's been over an hour. I didn't want to keep you too long. I know we started a little late for everybody in there. We're supposed to start at what 8:15, but it was because of me. We got pushed back to 8:30. So no, I appreciate you all sticking with me and being flexible. And again, on this channel, Life in the Carolinas by Sir Ashley, I want to talk about the Carolinas as a whole. Today we talked about Charlotte. I want to do. I want to go in depth regarding the triad area, the what Greensboro, High Point, Winston Salem area, with one of those charts I talked about looking into the future for what to expect. Hold on. I gotta before I leave, I gotta shout out Matt. I have not talked to you or heard from you in almost a year. How are you doing, brother? He's a client turned friend over the pandemic. It's weird. The pandemic can make people on different parts of the world, country, close. I talked to him every day for about 4 months. So no, thank you for tuning in, Matt. I appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. Hope your family's doing well. Morgan, tell your kids I said hey. But Joy, I will put your information in the description of this video so people can reach out to you. And just to protect you, that whole not paying and all that, that was all me.
You the
That,
attorney in the situation. I'm gonna run it right to you.
that had nothing to do with you.
Pro bono.
Yeah, yeah. Um, And April, yes, we'll talk about Concord next time. I want to talk about Cabarrus County. I believe there's opportunity in Cabarrus County, York County. York County is in South Carolina, Cabarrus County is in North Carolina, and parts of Gaston County, which, as of what, 2, 3 years ago, I would have never mentioned Gaston County. But it's where population is growing, and there's a lot of plans that are being made for Gaston County. A lot of money being thrown into Gaston County, so it's better to get in now than before it's too late and you can't afford it. So, but no, I appreciate you all. You all have a good evening, and thank you again, Joy.
All right, thank you.